Hello, good afternoon. I hope you are all doing well today. I'm super excited today to come in and show you some troubleshooting tips and tricks with eyeshadows. I had an in-home party that I just did that I was able to show the difference in using tools and tips and tricks for your eyeshadow looks and getting a completely different look using the exact same colors. Now, it is no secret that I absolutely love everything that Saint has to offer. When I first started as an artist, I wasn't a big, huge makeup person as far as like experience with a lot of different brands. But one of my favorite things that is you can absolutely pair whatever products that you previously loved beforehand with Saint, other than anything that has silicone in it. And that includes your eyeshadows. So although I absolutely love everything that Saint has as far as colors wise go, and you can build your own personal palette, please feel free to use what you have and incorporate it. And then when you're ready to switch, then we can find colors that are similar to that. So today, mostly I want to show you an eyeshadow look using the exact same colors on each eye, but I'm going to use different tools. It really does make a huge difference, okay? So this is my old eyeshadow brush that I had. I used to actually have two of them, and they're only one-sided. I can't find the other one. It's somewhere in my daughter's makeup vanity somewhere, but I was lucky to find this one. But this is the one that I used most, okay? As you can see, it is only one-ended, and this brush is very similar to our smudge brush. And if you know anything about our smudge brush, you know that the bristles are going to be more dense, okay? Now, I just use this one on my eyes. Now, when I do our eyeshadow looks, I use our eyeshadow brush. Cool thing about our brushes, we all know they're all dual-ended, okay? You can already tell the difference in the ends when I put them next to each other, that this one is going to be light and airy, and this one is definitely going to have the dense bristles. But when we flip them over, each side, this one, you're out of luck, and this one, you have the ability to give a darker look and add density with a more dense bristle on this end, okay? So I'm going to start off by priming my eyes like I always do using my brightening shade, okay? I moved it to my bottom portion of my palette just so that it could keep everything in one place, and I'm gonna show you different applications with the eyeshadow, okay? So I'm just gonna go into my brightening shade, and I am going to put it on my eyes first. Now, if you are not somebody who does use an eyeshadow primer, I'm really gonna highly suggest you start. Couple different reasons why. Yes, we know that our eyeshadows are already very pigmented, but you can get even more pigmentation by having a nice light base layer to start off with, as opposed just to putting the eyeshadow colors right on your eyes as is. Now, our colors are absolutely going to stand out regardless of if you have a primer or not, but trust me when I say try your brightener if you have not, or whatever primer that you currently use on your eyeshadow to prime your lids, okay? Now, another step that I like to do in moving forward with my eyeshadow looks is I like to put one small layer of a translucent or very light color, okay? So if you have a white color, or if you have our vanilla dust setting powder, you can use that. Or I personally like to use our color Cupcake, okay? It's very, very light. It's the lightest one we have. So I'm just gonna take my fluffy end of my eyeshadow brush, and I'm gonna dust that over my whole entire lid very lightly. Now, not only is this gonna help set the makeup, and it's also gonna help with a little bit of brightness and transitioning my colors together, but it's also gonna help in aiding and stopping your eyelid colors from creasing together. if you are somebody who has some creasing, as you notice throughout the day, if your eyelids start to sweat, those colors can start to meld together a little bit. So priming your lids and adding a nice light layer of a translucent or very light, technically white color over the top is really going to make a difference in stopping that bleeding in your eyes. So now my other eye, I'm going to switch brushes and I'm just going to tap into that cupcake here and I'm going to tap off any additional and I am going to just put it over. Now you can already tell the difference with just using this brush because of its dense bristles, how much different when I applied it, how it looks already, okay? Now notice, nice, light, fluffy, airy over the top of my primer here. This side, I used my old eyeshadow brush that has only a dense bristle, and you can absolutely tell the difference that this one looks way more white than this one does already. And if you like that look, by all means go for it, okay? This is today going to show you the difference of a great eyeshadow brush and a not so great eyeshadow brush, okay? Not saying that other brushes are bad. There are so many other brushes out there that are great, but this is what I love so much about our brushes, okay? Already can see a huge difference, all right? So after I have that light translucent layer over my eyes, I am going to go with a shade a little bit darker than my first color that I'm gonna start with, okay? So since I already have that cupcake on here, I'm just gonna use that as my base layer to start building my palette, all right? Still gonna stick with my same brush, just gonna brush it off on my brush tile, moving into my next color. I am going to go into the color, let's see, let's do Zion. Okay, I love Zion, all right? I'm gonna take this bristle brush, the thicker one, and I'm gonna tap here. And just like I would with my other brush, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna just start applying in my crease area. Oh my goodness, now I cannot guarantee how this is all gonna turn out because I have not used these non-free flowing bristles in a very long time. They're super stiff. But when you don't have good brushes, you don't know any better. So I have to tell you that a lot of my success with my makeup application these days, coming from no experience to having a little bit more, is practice and the tools that I use. So now I'm kind of, just to blend it in and not have that super harsh line, I'm kind of just patting all over my lid area by my crease to not have such a dense, harsh look, okay? Now I'm gonna switch to our eyeshadow brush, that is the fluffy end here, and I'm gonna go into that color Zion. I'm gonna pick up just that little tiny bit here, tap off any additional, and I'm just going to blend in right away, okay? So notice that I'm holding that brush more towards the edge of the bristle. The farther away from the end that you're using you get, the more free flow you have with your shadow brush and the flexibility of your wrist to be able to blend. Okay, so now this started off as a video that was going to teach you the difference in brushes and application with the same colors. And it's quickly turning into, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how much faster it's going to be to do my eyeshadow looks with a brush that moves well. Okay, so Zion on both eyes now here. You can see this one I did with our eyeshadow brush and this one I did with this brush from a different company. This was from a company called Motives, which was a very expensive makeup company at the time as well when I was using it. So one end here. All right, so now that I have these done, I'm going to switch to this color right here. So this is a Soulmate color, so it's a very light pink. And I am going to tap into this and I'm going to use my finger on this side, which is the eyeshadow brush that I used. And I'm just going to tap on here, okay? Like so, right? Then I'm going to go back to my brush just because I'm going to stick with what I used to do. And I'm going to tap on here like so. And I'm going to use this brush to just apply that Soulmate color on this side. Now you can see that it's still applying on my brush as I tap on this side, but you can also tell that I got a more dense application on this side with my finger when I tap, okay? So I'm going to go back just to kind of even it out with a couple layers on this side, just to add. All right. So now you can see we have kind of two different looks already going on here. This one you can tell is definitely more pigmented because I used my finger. And this one is going to be a lighter application when I used my brush, the old brush that I used to use. Okay. So now I'm going to go into my crease color and the color that I'm going to use on my outer edge. All right. So I'm going to switch back to my eyeshadow brush and I'm going to go into this color called Cocoa. This is a very gorgeous brown color. I'm just going to tap the edge very lightly and notice I'm sticking with this fluffy end of my brush. Okay. So I'm going to just put this on the corner out here like so, and then sweep to the inner part of my crease and just spin on this outer edge here. Now you can tell that this color is going to soften my look at the exact same time, like so. All right. Now, if I want to take that to more of an eyeliner look, I'm going to just take this fluffy end of this brush too, and I'm just going to sweep underneath my eye very lightly, and you can tell that it's already doing a nice light application, like so. Okay, now if I want to intensify that outer corner, I'll flip to my smaller end of my brush and I'm going to tap in here, and then I'm just going to take this outer edge and I'm just going to tap like so on that outer corner until I have the density that I want or desire on this outer corner. Okay, so just filling in this outer corner. And again, if you want a heavier eyeshadow eyeliner look, instead of using eyeliner, stick with that denser end of that brush and then go underneath like so. Okay, so that's going to create a denser look using that smaller end of this brush and the fluffy end at the same time. And if you do decide, if you start with your denser end of your brush, but you really want to soften that edge, go back to the fluffy end and then just blend in towards your eye into that crease corner until you have your desired look that you're looking for. All right, so this eye is all finished with my eyeshadow brush from Saint. Now I'm going to flip back to the other brush and do the other side and do the exact same thing. So now I'm going to go into the cocoa color here using the same brush, the one-ended brush that we started with, and I'm going to tap into that cocoa color, and I'm going to go on this outer edge here, and I'm going to bring that cocoa color on that edge like I did with the other brush. But notice that I'm not able to free flow my hand as much as I did on the other side, solely just because of the denser bristles. This is its job. It's supposed to have a denser application, all right? So now trying to soften that outer corner into the crease, you can tell it's getting a little bit darker than the other side is without having that softness to blend, okay? So I have to work a little bit harder just to kind of blend those colors together, like so. And now when you start applying your makeup, I'll show you at the very end a tip to kind of help clean everything up. So then since I did my eyeliner, I'm going to tap into this cocoa color and I'm going to go right underneath the edge of my eye with that brush, depositing that cocoa color, and you can tell it's already going to be a darker, and because it has a thicker bristle on it, you can tell that the shadow line is a little bit thicker, okay? So I am going to continue to blend this until I have my desired look, all right? So nothing wrong with other brushes. It's just something that I've learned as I've gone along that really great tools can make a difference in application. Okay, so now say you're all finished with your look, but when you're looking at your eyeshadows, you're thinking, oh man, I kind of went out to this corner a little bit farther than what I would desire. And not necessarily because of where you were blending, but just solely when you place your brush here, it gets a little bit more dense. And now you want to soften that edge a little bit, okay? go back to your brightening shade that you use, that is going to be your pop, and you're going to take it and you're going to put it on this outer edge of your eye, and you can even take your finger and drag up this way, like so, and the exact same thing on this side. Okay, and now you can tell by adding that little bit of that brightening shade on the outer side, one, it helps lift your eyes and your corners a little bit, but it also helps in cleaning up any edges that you may have gone too far out and thinking, oh man, I have to start over. When you don't, you can absolutely use your colors to clean it up, okay? So now just looking at my eyes straight on, this would be the end result. So using really great brushes can really truly make a difference in your application. Again, our eyeshadow brush is dual-ended. All of our brushes are dual-ended, but we have the soft end and we have the denser end, whereas opposed to some people just have one eyeshadow brush. Either it's this one, or if you buy any of like the CoverGirl compacts, they come with those little black ones with a little sponge on it to blend. And its job is to deposit the color, but its job also should be blending your look appropriately, okay? So since I'm gonna go in, no matter if you use a dense brush, you can always go back in with a softer brush and kind of blend things out. And I'm just going to take this brush and I'm just going to soften this edge just a little bit so that when I go off today, I don't look crazy on one side. I mean, I always look a little bit crazy, but I just want to soften that edge. So you can see, even though I did have an extremely dense application in that corner, I was able to soften that by switching to a fluffier end of my brush, okay? So whether you're using Saint eyeshadows or your own personal palette that you have that you're using up or that you love, you should be able to get the same desired look just by switching up your brushes just a little tiny bit. Once you start using a really good eyeshadow brush or any other really good brushes in general, you really start to notice that not only your technique gets better, but your application gets better, and then your finished look gets better. And then it's so much more fun to play. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial about eyeshadows and applications with different brushes while using the same colors on both sides and still getting a very different look at the end. If you have any questions at all, please comment below. Let me know. I'd be happy to continuously do more tutorials on especially eyeshadows. But I also was asked to do a tutorial on placement with illuminators. So I will be doing that with you guys as well. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and always thank you for your continued support. Looking forward to bringing you more content.